Hi, this is Lucy, and today I'm going to show you how to build the Coven Cottage. You will need catwalks and a flamer trap for this build. If that's something you're interested in, please stay tuned. So, this is my Halloween build. It wasn't my first Halloween build. It's been one of those years, months, decades. I had originally planned to do a play on Pride and Prejudice and zombies. And for those people that showed up to help me film, thank you. For those that didn't, let's just say I've shelved that project. Well, Rufus just ran off to deal with some rats. I don't want to lose him. I stopped getting pets a while ago because they quite often die and I get upset. But I thought I'd give it another go. So this build is actually inspired by a house in ESO. I couldn't do an exact replica for obvious reasons, but I'll show you what it looks like. So this is the Exorcised Coven Cottage in Glenumbra. You can only buy it if you meet certain criteria by doing the Halloween event. I haven't managed it yet. I will manage it this year. There are quite a few of these cottages all over Tamriel. Although this one doesn't come with a furnished option, there are other instances on the map of these cottages furnished. This is the Sweet Breeze cottage in Gratwood, which I think is a really nice example of how these can be decorated. So I based my decorations loosely on this one. Unfortunately, I was not able to provide a ghost in mine. Now, for some of you, you may already know, I'm not exactly private about it. I am a practicing pagan. I have been for over 25 years, and I mainly follow a druidic path. So Halloween for me is also Samhain, which is the Celtic year end, according to some people. And it was the day that the veil was thinnest, which meant that it was easier to talk to people on the other side. And similar to the Mexican Day of the Dead, it's a time to commune with your ancestors. And this somehow got twisted into ghosts and ghouls and all that, which is how the idea of Halloween came about. So I tend not to do traditional Halloween camps. So this is a witch's cottage. But it's the type of witch that was a healer, a midwife, a wise woman, not someone with green skin and warts on their nose. So that was kind of what I was thinking when I built this. So as you can see, we have this wall all the way around. We have various bits in the garden. I have these gourds down, which I've added pumpkins to make it look like a pumpkin patch. I saw that on somebody, sorry I can't remember your name, on Women of the Wasteland group on Facebook gave me that idea. We have the outhouse. I have lowered it slightly using a rock because it's so high, but I couldn't lower it as much as I wanted to because I needed a foundation at this level to get the door on. And because the ground isn't really flat, I couldn't get the foundation any lower than that. I mean, obviously I have decorated for Halloween with the pumpkins. Good boy, Rufus. Do you know what? I have stood here for 20 minutes till it got dark, and now I get enemies attack. I mean, what is it with this game? I have put the wagon out, I have added a couple of extra lights to it. I have merged a generator in there to power them. I still am disappointed by this, which is why I actually built, if you haven't seen it, I actually built one of these as a house in No Man's Sky. I couldn't do it in Fallout 76, but I did it in No Man's Sky. I have all my workbenches around the back here. So my stash box is inconveniently placed here because I needed it to put a generator in. The wall isn't centered completely around the cottage because I needed more space. I needed to pull it forward so that I had enough space for this porch. Inside, I've kind of followed the layout of the cottage from ESO, so no ghost though, I'm afraid. I have tried to I'm not recording this again. I have tried to make it look like a woman that is an apothecary and a healer. So there's not really much sort of spooky stuff in here. I have put a few cobwebs up because obviously if you're a busy woman working 6 jobs, then you don't have time to dust. She's obviously a crafter. She makes toys for the village children. I'm quite happy with how this turned out. I would have possibly liked more stuff in here. I mean, from a point of view of budget, I've used about 60% of the budget to build this place. So you still have plenty of budget left if you want to put more crap in here. It is a fully working camp. We have a sink. This is a fridge. And the cooker is in the fireplace. And yes, it works. I'll show you where we are on the map. We are behind Hopewell Cave. I have built here before, but not for some time. I have to confess, I have built this 4 times. Well, technically 5, if you count the test run I did to see if it would work. And the reason for this is you need an area that's really flat. I found, the first time I built it in the ash heap. And I found this absolutely perfect spot. And I am gutted that I couldn't leave it there. The camp was about here. There was a semicircle of trees. But the problem was, if you went out the front gate, it triggered the scorch beast, who would then attack your camp. Now, it was fine because I moved the camp widget back and I just jumped over the back gate. But the problem was, when my friends came to visit, they landed at the front of the camp and it triggered it. So it meant that if I used this on a public server for Halloween, that anyone coming to visit my camp for my vendor or my bowl, which I do have, I put it away because the noise annoys me, they're going to trigger the Scorch Beast, and I'm going to be repairing my camp every time someone visits, so I had to move it. So here we are, in the Savage Divide instead. Right, all of that aside, I will now show you how to build it. Well, kind of. So I'm not doing a full build video of this because this is actually a variant of the mushroom house. I will show you what I mean in a minute. Now, before you build, one of the things I will suggest is that you build the wall first, that you test it. Now this wall is a blueprint. Now you could do it in your build spot wherever you want, but I actually, because I'd already built the house, I went and did this in a workshop. I placed down a full circle. One of these in a workshop, and I took these walls, the wavy willard walls, making sure snapping's off, and I just went around and I lined them up on the outside, on the ground, not on the actual foundations. I lined them up. The other thing you want to bear in mind is that you need to make sure that snapping is off before you place this. If you still have snapping on, it will snap 3 walls together. And so you just sort of end up with this weird thing of walls going in different directions. So make sure snapping's off. I would suggest that when you find your build spot, you pick your build spot, that you see if you can get this down, because the second time I built this house, I could not. I built the house and then I couldn't get the wall down. It kept saying it was intersecting with something, even though it wasn't. It must have been something under the map. I'd managed to get a full circle down to do the roof, but I couldn't then get the wall round afterwards. So all those things in mind, build this, check that it will go down in your build area. If it can, then if it does, then carry on, because it's a good chance you'll be able to get the rest done. But take it up, because it will be in the way for the actual build. Right, when I say this is the mushroom house, you will remember that if you've seen it or if you've built it, I placed one of these down and then I took up the foundations. Once you've placed your full circle, your 16-sided circle, remove all of the full walls and replace them with half walls. This is so that we can have the roof much lower, because we're only using the middle part of the roof. To remove the foundations, you will have to flamer trap all of these half walls. Before you remove your foundations, make sure that you add a foundation lined up where you want your front door to be. This is where we are going to create the guide for adding the smaller circle. Add another foundation, a quarter of a catwalk in to the circle, and because the roofs are higher than the walls, because they overlap, you need to raise this foundation slightly. Then carry on and make your guide. If you want to add the fireplace and chimney, do this now before you put any roofs or walls on, and then flamer trap it. Repair the half walls and start to add your roofs. Now the first layer of roofs we will not be keeping. They are only to attach the second layer. Obviously you'll have to do this in layers, so the second layer you have to lay flat, place it upright, lower the first one, you can flamer trap that. On the inner circle you will only be able to do 4 at a time, so go round until you have 16. You can then, if you've got any of the lower roofs left, just remove them. You can then just add walls underneath. I would suggest you do this before you repair the roof. So that is all from me today. I hope you like the build. I hope you have fun with it. I hope you have a great Halloween or Samhain, whatever you celebrate. That's all from me today. Thank you for watching.